thank you for warm welcome. It is the first time for me to speak like this in front of a big audience. So thank you very much for letting me have this opportunity. So I like to name myself as an observer, because this is what I have been doing mostly the whole life. I studied art, so it's part of observing. Then I was I learned to be a teacher of art. So you also need to look the audience and discover what their needs are. And then I have been in this Labrador Retriever Club, and as a breeder, and as a handler, and as a volunteer of rescue dogs. So I have seen different aspects of dog world. So, and I share some remarks of mine. What I'm going to talk about. The times have changed, new challenges. Dogs have to meet, not only us. The position of dogs in human life, expectations people have, and the reality, what really is there, and what is the breeder's role in all this, designing these relationships of humans and dogs. Have we done enough? And what is the PR need? What we need it and why? What is the role of breeder in PR process? What can be done? So, global changes that have been taken place. Dogs started to live side by side with humans, became more useful in many ways. We know the benefits dogs have. They have been part of our families, and in these days they are even more. In many cases they are the only family people have. So it's impossible to underestimate the value of a dog. And people love dogs endlessly. We need to consider it. It's our passion. Importance of the dogs. It affects everything we do. The work we choose, working hours. Thomas was talking about it, the Friday evenings when you have to groom the dog. So holiday plans we make, where we go, where we stay, what kind of choices we make in home design, places we visit, people we hang out with. They need to accept our hobby and our dogs, our company. Dogs affect our health, our well-being, our mental health. It's very important. And actually marketing people know it very well. And this is a growing business, as we know. Pet business. And from the other side, also the growing area is science. More scientific researches are made on dogs. That has never been happening before, but it's happening now. Before times there were studies on wolves, but wolves are very different animals than dogs are in these days. So it is a growing area. We get new information, lots of new information. So, nothing is as it used to be. The changes have affected dogs also. New demands for dogs. Urbanization sets environmental challenges. All the surrounding, we are putting our pets. It's artificial. All the slippery surfaces. As a breeders, we know what does it mean for health, for example. Stairs and elevators, traffic full of vehicles of all kind, noises, smells. Dogs are very good in hearing and smelling. It's different from people. Higher temperatures, for example, the past few days in a city environment, it has been really very challenging for dogs. For example, to walk on the asphalt, it's about 50 degrees or more. So we are not thinking about these kind of changes, not every day, but from time to time it's useful to remember. So lack of privacy, lack of movement, many forced social contacts for dogs. Industrial food, it is also a new thing, not lately, but still. Dogs have been bred for certain purposes, but they have lost and keep losing their jobs, their original jobs. They were hunters, they were guards, sheepdogs, and many of them are unemployed nowadays. Because of the changing world, because of changing demands, these jobs are not needed anymore. It is the same with people world and people jobs. So, what has come in return? Loneliness, that was mentioned before. It's not killing only humans, it's also a problem dogs have to deal with. If people work 8 hours per day, as many of them do, they go to work, they come back, it takes about 10 hours. And many of people think that it's absolutely fine that the dog is waiting at home. We have many things in life, many activities, hobbies, trainings, concerts, our friends. We go out, but our dog is staying home and waiting for us. So we are the most important. We are the world for our dog. So what has come in return? Obesity and anxiety, boredom for dogs. They have nothing to do. New jobs. Social media stars, YouTubers, influencers, models, actors. These are new challenges for dogs. I think we all have had possibility to follow famous Instagram dogs, what they do and what they were. So there are beneficial dogs, reading dogs, therapists, support persons for children or people who feel insecure. There are professional sportsmen and showmen in dogs. And this all gives more entertainment for people, but it also cultivates false image of canine nature in many cases. Movie industry has made some breeds very popular. And why sadly? Because of higher demand in society, some people have started to have more litters. And this ended up with making compromises that should have not been made. Dogs are loved more, but understood less. In general, there are always exceptions. But, well, as As a manager of a dog hotel, I see both dogs of poor breed and mixed breed ones, and many kinds of owners. And this is really a huge problem. I can see that people don't really understand what kind of animal dog is. Different species communication problems. So, this is what is happening. We are talking in different language and still hope that we understand each other. So, and another thing that we need to think about sometimes is how much these things we like to do matter to dogs. Is it for us or is it for them also? And what is for them? So, people have some unrealistic expectations when it comes to dogs. In a human society, when we have all these regulations and rules around us, dogs are expected to behave very well in a human society, be polite, don't bark, don't dig holes, mingle like a social butterfly with everybody, be friendly, smile, be more like a human, not like a dog maybe. Because when taking a dog, people have looked, oh, this breed is so nice, but they have forgotten about what the breed was essentially bred for and what kind of behavior this dog has. But anyway, I have this nice dog, I want to go to the rock concert, I want to go to kindergarten to meet all the children, and I want my dog to be happy with that. We are not thinking about the welfare of dog, we are thinking about what we want to do. And well, one important thing is this Commissar Rex syndrome. And it is a big problem that people think that some dogs are really smart from the very day they are born, and not special kind of education is needed. And the only thing they are ready to do is the puppy class. And we all know, we dog people know, what kind of quality the puppy classes might have. It is this and that, and everything in the middle. And of course, as we love our pets, we hope them not to get ill, and at least when they are ill, they should live forever. Because it's also important for us, even if it comes on the welfare of a dog. Humanization. This is what is happening. We are having dogs, but we are still thinking that it's just a furry little human on 4 feet. But the behavior we expect is human behavior, actually. And we attribute human emotions, thoughts and needs to dogs. And well, of course it is the dream world of marketing people who can use all these things to create, for example, nice food with human grade ingredients in it. And we even put some nice additives, and well, everybody should be feeling very safe and happy. And design items, special services for dogs. These are all created because of this humanization thing. People think it's important for dogs, and we want to have it. We want to have the best for our dogs. And in many cases, as it is with children, it happens also with dogs. Activities replace activities are replaced with treats and toys. We have less time and we give more things. But the time is most valuable one. Does it make dog happy? So, but there is still a positive effect, side effect of humanization. In any case, animals get more attention, even if they don't get much of our time. And this attention, animals generally enjoy. And bonding is found to be stronger in those who attribute human characteristics to their dogs. Attribution of emotions to animals affects human-animal interactions and can dictate animal welfare laws. It comes from a study, not very new one, but it shows that it really is so. Closer people feel to their dogs, more interested they are to create changes in their life. Drawbacks. Drawbacks is limited understanding of what dogs are and what their essential needs to be happy and healthy. Modest understanding of doggish, not knowing how to communicate with them in a way it would be pleasant to both us and dogs. And in our urbanized world, people have less contacts with country life and animals in general. One is happy to have a pet animal at home, and it might be the only contact they ever had. And they tend to generalize it. When I have a nice dog, all the dogs are nice, are friendly. Insufficient fact-based knowledge of dogs' behavior, understanding stress signals, reading body language. And this part is really very sad, because ignoring the basic needs and not understanding doggish results with stress in both sides. Problem behavior, conflicts, dog bites. And this is something, again, the society and media picks up and uses against dog owners. And of course, we are part of it, pedigree dog owners. But from the other way, dogs have been doing a bit better than we have. The most domestic dogs are usually skilled at reading human social and communicative behavior, even more than our nearest primate relatives. Well, there is another study, also not a new one at all, but the last thing I read was about dogs having special muscle in face that gives more impression, and this is also something that especially dogs have, not wolves. So living together with people have changed dogs a lot. Pedigree dogs could have an advantage because breeders are the ambassadors of pedigree dogs. Breeders are great influencers, and we select homes for puppies, and we have, in general, chance to educate new people. We have the best possibility to find the best homes, give a good start, and inspect the development of the relationship. It is a controlled process. It's easy to get a mixed breed dog from shelter. There are so many. It's very easy, and anybody has time to pay attention and educate you. Well, a breeder has to evaluate the breeding work that has been done before, 100 years before, and also value the work that you are doing yourself here and now. Time is needed to do things properly. But how much time breeders have and for what? This is the essential question. And from real life, what I can see almost every day, and I also spoke to dog trainers and asked their opinion, and sadly they had the same experience, that people, or dogs in general, have a very poor knowledge of their breed. And this is one of the answers. We were told it was a calm and easy dog. We just wanted a dog, a pet, nothing else. And in many cases, breeders have encouraged them to take the breed, saying it is very easy to maintain, very easy to train. They are smart from the birth. So it is not the honesty we were talking about. So keeping flag high is very important, and in the ideal world, breeders are dog-loving people with high ethical standards, huge amount of knowledge, and knowledge about canines and breeding. The world doesn't need only quality pedigree dogs, but also great ambassadors, breeders, who guide new people to the breed, educate, inspire, and motivate, and teach them about dogs. A breeder is a person who works with canines and also people of different ages, and would be beneficial to have some practical experience plus fact-based knowledge to do it better. How does the reality look like? Ouch! What happened? Why so? We are all only humans. Our faults, our pluses, very different by nature, background, education, motivation, and ambition. And if it was mentioned before, it was only higher class people who started with breeding. In these days, we have all kinds of people from all kinds of social classes and backgrounds. And it complicates things a bit because the understanding can be very different of what we do. And canine world is emotional, passionate, and full of competition. Nothing to do. It's not always a fair play also. Reputable breeders, backyard multipliers, puppy mills, good or bad. Blurry boundaries, especially for non-dog people, it is all the same gang. They don't really understand who is who. It's not easy to find information. It's not easy to find out, is it a good breeder or is it just pretending to be a good breeder? If you don't have anything to do with the dog world, it's a real challenge to understand what's going on there. People don't understand what is breeding and what is the real value of pedigree dogs. Actually, they don't understand. Focus on shows and competitions. It stays far from general public and cultivates the image of tough, closed world. This is my opinion. Just you are welcomed not to agree with it. What has breeders to do with it? Breeders sometimes make compromises in our breeding choices on choosing puppy owners. There are several reasons for that. But in general, if you find out and understand what a person loves, you understand what is the trigger for action. And you can predict in what point they are ready to compromise. It can be fame, power, being important, having more income. One may love own dogs, own breed, or dogs in general. Attitude to the environment, it all can be very different from people to people. Producing too many puppies. FCI says breeding is a hobby, but we all know it's quite a time-consuming one. We are supposed to have our work and other duties also. How much time we have for this hobby, and how many is too many puppies, for example? It is a good question. So, something to think about. Communication. Communication in general is a daily work. For people it has been never easier to get information on topics they are interested in. You just need to Google. You just need to select your sources, but it's all there. It has never been so easy. But from the other side, somehow people are very ignorant when it comes to dogs. You can look in pet forums, people just ask, what should I do? My dog is barking when left alone. But, well, Google, YouTube is full of videos how to train. Plus, you have trainers, you have contacts. Just go and have some action. People don't do it. We can't force someone to hear a message they are not ready to receive. It is true. You may read one book in a 5 years gap, and you are reading like a new one because your knowledge has changed meanwhile. So you see new things, but they were there before also. But anyway, we must never underestimate the power of planting a seed. It's important to talk. One day it will be heard. It is communication. So repeat it all over again and all over again. Communication takes time, and we all have only 24 hours a day, so we compete on time to get our information to the target. And we also need to think that this time factor is there when we need to spread our knowledge. How much time we have to spread and to teach people, to teach the puppy owners, for example. If we have, I don't know, 5 liters per year, is it still a hobby and we can do it perfectly well? Or there are points where it starts to suffer. Every breeder matters in communication process. Each one of us does our part. So it's very important to stay open-minded. We have the practical side, we have the practice, but we also need to update our fact-based knowledge. What I have seen in my life, that breeders who have been there for 40 years active, breeding fantastic dogs, having lots of experience, they somehow have stopped to observe the new knowledge because they already know everything. They have done everything. They have talked everything. No need to repeat anymore. So they have somehow given up. So staying open-minded, in my opinion, is important. Use the public interest to educate and tell your story. Explain what you are doing. And we land up on this page the magical combination of letters PR. Public relations, it is nothing else than relations with the public. For many breeders, it usually starts with the advertising a litter or presenting wonderful show results or health results. And that's all they do, actually. But PR is, first of all, the art of telling our story. Essential questions, what is this story we are telling? And as we are very different as breeders, the understanding can be very different also. Understanding of breeding and do we communicate with public? In some extent we do. How well we do it? How we present ourselves and how well we have been telling our story and explaining the basic facts. How well can we make people understand what is a pedigree dog, a breeder, a breed club, SCI? How well prepared we are when we have problems? Are we ready to face them, react fast? It's kind of closed society. Our fame, our game. We tend to forget that pedigree dog world is not the whole world. It might be the whole world for us, but definitely it isn't for other people. Dogs are an important part in our life, and in many cases they occupy all of it. We are very passionate, and breeder has many roles: project manager, midwife, a nurse, a trainer, a nutritionist, an advisor, 24/7 help desk, handler, cleaner, and a fighter. We fight for many things, for our dogs, for our attitude, attitude, ideas. So, and we spend the sleepless nights, we deal with many failures and losses. We want to be understood and respected for what we do, and we sacrifice. And of course, many breeders have these disappointing contacts, experiences with puppy owners also. So it creates some bitterness, and breeders don't want to have these kind of bad feelings anymore, so they neglect themselves even more. How do we breeders look like? Again, the closed society. We are having our own language. We post on Facebook pages some nice pictures, but with very strange combinations that, oh, my dog got CC. What is this C? Majority of our friends don't understand the word. Sometimes we tend to be like a fight club members who compete with each other instead of cooperation. We sell cute puppies, but very expensive ones somehow. It has to be a really good business, isn't it? This is the public opinion. And the quality of FCI breeders can vary a lot. Not all of us meet the high standards. There are some bad seeds that can damage the reputation of breeders and pedigree dog breeding in general. And that is, to me, again, very important issue, how to manage this matter. In nowadays, it's very easy to get a pedigree dog. No obligations. What can we demand? So, from time to time, it's not a bad idea to make this self-analysis that is made already 60 years. It can be done in every kennel club. So, let's look into the mirror. What our strengths, opportunities, weaknesses and threats are. There are only some I pointed out. We have strengths, experience, knowledge, we have passion, we have a possibility to work with other people who have the same interest. We have possibility to create some new values. We have big number of members in the clubs. So it could be a huge potential. What are our weaknesses? Definitely fighting against each other. It takes lots of time and energy. Compromises on ethics. It happens. Income, not a hobby. Denying existing problems. We may want to see the world more beautiful and problemless than it really is, but it's not going to help us. Close society. We are living in our own bubble. We are communicating with breeders who have the same passion, the same hobby. We meet in shows. There is quite limited contact with ordinary people, and these contacts might terrify us because they are so ignorant. They don't know anything. They don't understand what we are doing, but we are doing very important things. So this is the part of impatience. We did it once. We have told it already. How much more I need to tell about it? You are just ignorant if you don't understand. Also inactivity. We are active, but in what way? We go to shows, but do we do other things in society? This is the thing we need to think about. Opportunities. In general, there is a huge public interest in dogs, as they take so important part in our life. People just want to have better knowledge, to live with them, better lives together. So they are ready to take the information. Cooperation is an opportunity inside the club, between clubs, with other organizations, with universities, for example, some animal welfare organizations, and internationally. FCI is an international organization, and we could use it more, this international communication. So, what could be opportunities, proactive kennel organization and guidelines from the umbrella. We just can't think that everything is going to be fine if we only react on what is happening. We need to be some steps ahead. It's like it is in dog training. You need to be some steps ahead of your dog. So this is something I would love to see also in kennel organizations. Not to be behind and react, but to be ahead a bit. Ethical standards for breeders. It could help to understand who is who. It could help public in general and also us. Kennel organization can offer educational programs to teach the young generation the future hopes. This is definitely a very important thing. We should have all kinds of materials we can hand out on events. Threats. What can be the threats? Sick and overbreed dogs, negative image of pedigree dogs. This is cultivated in media with pleasure, so we need to keep it in mind. Crazy fight club, negative image of breeders. This is also how it looks from outside. And as it's so crazy and so overloaded with negative emotions, people are not willing to enter this world, new people. Cases of poorly kept dogs in kennels of FCI registered members. It happens, they end up in social media or printed media, and we can't prevent it, but we need to think what to do in these cases. What is the reaction? What is we are going to say, and how to keep our kitchen clean. Lack of knowledge. This is also a thing everybody needs to keep in mind, that learning is a lifelong process. It doesn't end after 40 years of breeding. It continues. So everybody. Breeding as business. This is a thing that is very complicated, but in some cases it is there, and those people are not interested in losing their income. What to do? Inactivity, slow or no steps made. The clubs and the kennel organizations refuse to react at all. We just hide ourselves. It doesn't look like it's our problem at all. All kinds of trends, market trends, economy, fashion, environment, politics, regulations that are created. Passion of these designer dogs, designer breeds. Feeling of impunity of breeders. Conclusion. Changes in society are taking place fast. We have no time to react and to deal with matters. Social media builds and kills with one click. It's very easy to destroy somebody's reputation. More dogs, less understanding, more problems, and it also affects breeders directly. And there are generally two options: proactivity versus passivity. We have a chance to take action and make changes, or we can stand and watch how it all goes. What shall be the strategy of kennel organization? This is what we might discuss. And PR definitely isn't about selling more puppies. It is about how to tell and sell our story, to explain ourselves, what is important to breeders. On organizational level, I think it's very important to face the problems and deal with them to keep the kitchen clean. Be responsible for what we have bred. Compromises result with growing number of unhappy dogs who are mistreated and misunderstood. Care of welfare and environment. We can't be otherwise. It is the only planet we have. And the paw print of dogs is quite huge. we need to think a little at least about it too. We need to keep the flag high, ethical standards for FSI breeders, code of honor, follow the rules, react when they are ignored. Education of the public, cooperate for creating educational programs and materials for public awareness of responsible dog breeding and pedigree dogs. Training programs for educators also, because as I said, the practical knowledge is only part of it. You also need to know how to work with people. Proactive communication is really the meaning that you're active and pro. So that's it. Thank you.